And adoption in our world was pretty straightforward, right? For an online product, a software product, somebody has to be using it. That's pretty much it. And some of you, I think, may have ideas, right? I mean, I met a couple of students before this, student entrepreneurs who graduated recently, and they have some really good ideas, and they're already working on it. And that's the best part about some of these ideas in the software space. You can actually start work on it without investing hundreds and thousands of dollars. And so, anyway, coming back to this, we said, look, adoption is really important. Let's somehow get our product in use somewhere. Let's do something with it. So after having gone nowhere for about a year, we said, we got a little desperate. We said, what can we do to move the needle? And the other thing that we did, right, is we ended up really sticking to our core vision. We said we're going to be a product company and we're going to make money by selling our product. We never took a single service opportunity. We never took any client saying, he'll pay us 10 lakhs, let's take the money. Never did that. We never just took random projects because we knew how to code and someone else needed us to code and they would pay us for it. So no service projects, none of the things that usually can be used to generate revenue and just let you go. Because we knew that would defeat the purpose. Once you go down that path of taking money for something which is not your core product, it's a slippery slope. You can't really ever come back. So we never did that. We said we will never charge money for anything and we will only work on our product. And then what happened? We launched our product. We said, you know what, let's just put it out on the web there. We created a website, we got a domain, MobStac.com. We said, let's put it out there, let's see what happens, right? And then all of a sudden, we couldn't believe it, right? You look at that graph there, adoption just shot up. People from all over the world started using our product, and they started giving us all kinds of feedback, and we were like, whoa, what just happened? And all of a sudden, we had people from Burkina Faso and Brazil and from Southeast Asia, Indonesia, Malaysia, obviously from India, from the US, UK, Europe, everywhere in the world. We had people using us. I mean, it didn't matter that they were not paying us. It didn't matter that they were not like the biggest customers on the planet, or at least biggest enterprise publishers or whatever. But they were using us, and they were helping us get out of that quagmire, basically, that we were in. We basically could get out of that, and we started seeing adoption. We started seeing sites being created, people coming to our website, people logging in, people giving us feedback. And that's what you really want to do when you get started, right? You want to get your product out there. You want to get a product in use. That's how we managed to get past that point, right? And from there, it's really simple, right? It's very simple because all you engineering students understand this. Iteration. Iteration, iteration, iteration. That's all you have to do at that point. Someone else came up with another phrase for it. I liked it, so I'll repeat it. It's called correct and continue. You're going to try something, it may not work exactly. Correct, continue. Again, it may not be exactly, where you want it to be, or maybe it won't exactly have the effect that you want. Correct, continue. I call it iteration. All of you are very familiar with how iteration works in simple things like the Newton-Raphson method. So that's really what we did. We iterated like crazy. It was just a small team. It was just 4 of us, including Sharath and I. But once you have adoption, once you have people using you, you can actually, start making progress towards being a real company. I'm saying all this, by the way, and I know I'm spending a lot of time on this. I'm saying all this because I want to help people understand that it's not always about just getting paid right away. It's not about getting your first rupee or whatever into your bank account as soon as possible. It's not about that, especially when you're a product company. You have to first get the product right. And there is no formula for making products. A product is an expression of creativity combined with engineering and design and technology and all of that. There is creativity involved. Insights matter. Your understanding of your problem, of the customers, all of these things matter. And so we launched. We iterated rapidly from that point. I think at this point the story is pretty straightforward. We iterated rapidly. A product improved leaps and bounds. We started getting enterprise customers because we were able to show traction. We were also able to get some more funding that allowed us to stay alive. This is where we are today. Our product is in use in over 40 countries. We serve content in over 12 different languages. We have over 1,500 customers. We've served over 200, and actually I think at this point it's 350 million mobile page views. We have 11 patents pending that we've filed. The MobStac team has filed. Google is our partner. We have a partnership with Google. We have a partnership with PubMatic. We have customers like The Hindu. Tata Consultancy Services is our customer. TCS.com, m.tcs.com is powered by MobStac. And we have other publishers and other customers around the world, but you may not be familiar with them. But that's where we are today, and I think it's a very different place to be. That's the size of our team now. When we started, we were in one room. Actually, this is an old picture. This is 6 months old. There are many more people now, and they don't all fit in one frame anymore. But that's where we are. That's how big we are. We're growing rapidly. And so it's a very interesting time for us as a company, as an entrepreneur. There are lots of things. I've tried not to go too much into the depths of MobStac because I think that's a big story in itself. But there are a couple of things that I just want to leave you with in terms of what I've learned. What I've learned about the things, about lessons really, that through these experiences that I had. And I really think that these have been the guiding principles, so to speak, in my life. One is, don't be afraid to follow your dream, whatever it is. Maybe some of you really want to do you want to do a degree in fashion technology, or maybe you want to pursue a career in fashion. Maybe somebody else wants to pursue music. There are enough examples of people who have done that, and very inspiring examples. But really, it's about that. Don't be afraid to follow your dream, because there'll always be the path which is practical, which is easy, and which a lot of people are asking you to do anyway. So I say, don't be afraid to follow your dreams. I think it's really important. I think the whole world is better when people follow their dreams. Another thing that I've learned over the years, and I've applied it in my life a lot, is that I always ask, but I'm prepared for a no. I always ask. I'm never shy to come and ask you for something. Because I feel like if I don't ask, how will you know? You're not going to read my mind. You're not going to know what it is that I want to do. You're not going to know how I want to progress in my career. How will you know? You may be my manager. You may be the boss of the entire company. Or you may be someone else. You may be my friend. You may be my wife. You may be anyone. I think it's important to ask. I believe so. If you ask, people will respond to you. You want a promotion? You think you deserve it? Ask for it. If you think you ought to get somewhere, you want to get into university, ask for it. If you think that they didn't consider your application right, call them up, talk to them. These are the things that I think have really helped, in terms of, it's not like we just gave up and someone said, wrote me an email and said, sorry, we're not interested, or we don't really think so. They ignore your email, they do all kinds of things. But if you want to survive, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you won't take no for an answer that easily. The other thing you'll do is you'll have to ask first. I want your business. I want you to be a first beta customer. I want you to join us and build this company. You're going to be the first person to do that, but I want you to do it. You have to ask. You'll still hear no's, right? So be prepared for that. Be prepared for a lot of no's, but you have to ask. And lastly, you have to take chances. Nothing venture, nothing have. You don't take chances with your life. You don't take chances on things that you think are important to you and that matter to you. Then I'm afraid you may just remain where you remain, and that's life. Life is about chance. There's a lot of probability in life, and I've always felt that it's important to take chances. When I say chance, I also mean risk. There's always risk involved in decisions that you take. It's very possible that MobStac would not have existed today. It's very possible. We would have died in 1 or 2 years if we had not made that change to our model or strategy. I may not have ever made it to computer science degree in Washington University. I may never have gone to the US. And I may never have gotten a job outside. I mean, I took a chance to say, forget it, Wipro, forget it, all these other companies. Forget about campus placement. I'll go outside of campus placement. All those things required taking risks. And that's what entrepreneurs do fundamentally. I'm not saying go jump into the Pacific Ocean and you just learned to swim last week. That's foolishness. That's not taking risks. Right? Entrepreneurs don't just jump in just because they're entrepreneurs. You have to take calculated risks. But without any risk, and this is what I keep hearing, by the way, even from people who advise us, they'll always tell us, as entrepreneurs, you'll have at best, 50% of the information you need to take a decision. It's true every day at MobStac. Maybe 50% is an exaggeration. I would say most of the time we take decisions on 40% of the data we need. And that's very different from engineering, right? Do you base your designs based on 40% success rate or whatever, 40% probability, confidence level, whatever it is? You're not going to design a bridge saying 40% chance that it will stay up, right? You don't. It's counterintuitive that way, entrepreneurship. But you have to take chances, and you have to take chances based on data that is incomplete. That's how it is. And so I say take chances. Ask the question, what if? And the only reason MobStac exists today is because Sharath and I, we were on a train ride in New York a long time ago, 2004, 2005, and we were talking about Indian companies and Infosys and Sony and Apple and all of that, and we said, what if we start a company, right? What if? We decided to follow up, and that's where we are, and that's how I am here today. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say to all of you guys. And at this point, we'll take questions. Anything the audience wants to ask, you can get to. Yeah. What's your name, by the way?
I'm Ravi.
Ravi.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Ravi, I had a choice. So did Sharath. We said we could have gone to Silicon Valley, or we could have come to India. That's your question, really, right? Why did we choose to come back to India?
Yes.
We wanted to attempt something that had not been attempted before. That's pretty much what it was. We were quite foolishly romantic, if you think about it. I think that decision doesn't make sense in any book, right? You just give up everything that you have. And to be honest, it was quite difficult. But we said, look, we want to see something exist. We wanted to see product companies come out of India. We wanted to see companies in India that built cutting edge technology and cutting edge technology products. I'm sure there are lots of companies. I'm not saying they didn't exist. But in our view, there was something that could be done, let's say in the web space or mobile space, whatever it is that we felt. We said, why should we move to Silicon Valley and do it? We'll move to Bangalore and do it, because that's... Now, why Bangalore is a different question. I'm not from Bangalore, neither is Sharath. We're both from Hyderabad, but we chose Bangalore. That's a different story. But we chose it because we said we'll attempt it. We'll try to do something that we really think should happen. Someone ought to create a company out of India that does products. We don't have to be just creating companies where we basically take advantage of labor arbitrage, right? That's what really happens. And so we said, look, let's try to do this. Let's try to create cutting edge technology. And there are lots of companies like us, by the way. It's not just us. Maybe they're not just that, they're not telling their story as much, perhaps. But there are many of them. There are many companies that are attempting it now. Maybe we don't have a Google or an Apple yet, but we'll get there. Yes?
How was it for you to get through 2 or 3 years of chemical engineering when you knew that's not what you wanted to do?
Oh, that's a great question. What's your name, by the way?
Varsha.
Varsha. Excellent question. Thank you for asking that question. So I'll be very honest with you. I didn't find it, okay, let me say this, okay? I tried to get the minimum. In the sense that I knew with a certain amount of effort, I could hit certain kinds of grades. I'm sure you don't want to hear, you want me saying all this. I'm sorry, but since you asked, I have to tell you. So what I did is I put whatever energy I could in terms of just studying for exams properly, making sure I did all the assignments. I did the things that were necessary, and I did learn, by the way. It's not like I don't know CSTRs and PFRs and all of that stuff, right? I do remember them, and of course, don't ask me anything now. Back then I did. I did learn. But what I did is, outside of that minimum time that I allocated to studying chemical engineering, I put everything that I had, heart and soul, into the rest. Because I was already, behind. I was not doing computer science full-time in my class, so I had to do it outside. And so in fact, there's this joke that people used to tell about me. Back then, every day I would come back, like classes and all that, and have dinner. Dinner 6:30, 6:45, right? Is it still 6:30, 6:45?